Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. And joining me today on Calgary's podcast is Alan Norris and Andrew Melton, who are part owners of the Bearspaw Golf Club just outside of Calgary. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mario.
All right, so maybe I'll start off with Alan. Can you talk a little bit about the history behind what happened to the Bearspaw Golf Club? It was in financial straits, so to speak, a few years back, and then you guys came in. But tell me,
Yeah, I'll maybe what I'll do, Mario, if it's okay with you. I mean, I came in part of the way through after that because I was still working full time, but Andy is probably well versed with respect to because he was sort of leading the charge back in 2019, and I
oh,
knew what was going on, but he was intimately involved at that point.
let's
So
start with Andrew. Talk about
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Just before I get into it, I should say that Bearspaw has been, it's got a long history. It's originally started in the early '80s, and it was a very strong, proud club and full of wonderful members. But like any project, and Al and I know because we're both from the real estate business, um, failed investments, it's hard to really pin down exactly what happened. Normally, it's a series of events, and you can't really sort of point to one event or one person and say cast the blame. It's just more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of things. But what was and so it's hard to say what the main issues were, but it revolved around the development of a new clubhouse. And what put it over the top was, as in a lot of construction projects, cost overruns and rising costs. And the members were asked time and time again to come up with more money to pay for the overruns and the extra cost. And then it just got to the point where they kind of lost faith and said enough. And the day that that happened, it was a pretty quick process. The receiver was appointed, and um, you know, it's the end. It's the end of a very sad chapter in Bearspaw's life.
Yeah.
Um, but the 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 core of the club continues to remain the same. There was no one defining factor that changed it from the old Bearspaw to the new Bearspaw. The core of the members continue to stay the same, and they were members that were quite passionate about the game and love Bearspaw, and so nothing has really changed. What did change was the ownership structure, and a group of partners decided that we just couldn't let this thing go. I live on the golf course, and I couldn't imagine somebody else being involved running the golf course other than the old members. So we put a group together, and we're successful with the bid with the receiver, and we worked as a group to regain control. But it's really the members. I go back to that. I mean, we put our money up and made took the risk, but it's the members who, in spite of what happened and gotten over their hard feelings for losing their original membership, that that just continued to support us and get behind us.
So, Andy, what year was that?
The financial trouble started in 2018, and it basically went into receivership sort of towards the beginning of 2019.
Okay. And the new ownership was in place when?
At the end of 2019,
Okay.
just in time for COVID to start.
Weren't they telling you to go out and do stuff in outdoors? Yeah.
Actually, COVID did help us in many ways, as it turns out.
helped a lot of golf courses actually. Yeah,
So Al,
definitely.
tell me about how you came into this, when and why.
I came in sort of 2.5, 3 years into the investment that Andy and the other 12 made. I was still going full time as CEO of Brookfield, and I just didn't have the time at the beginning to. I was traveling all over North America, so um, when the club originally started, they didn't have their own GM or head pro or whatever Andy's group. obviously ended up being handed the keys, and then, okay, what do we do now type of thing. And so they hired a management contract group to manage it for a period of time. And it became clear that there was a number of things that we needed to do. And this comes into some of other points about how we've succeeded down the road. We felt that as a group, we needed our own GM, our own pro, and our own control over the day-to-day management of it through the board. And so I came in on that basis and invested. And the group that was actually managing it had a shareholding interest in it as part of the 13. And they exited. I came in and along with some other additional investment. And so I got involved just at the end of 21, 22, can't remember exactly, and came on the board with Andy and part of the group of 13.
So when you look at it today, a few years later, Andy, like, what kind of financial shape are you folks in there?
Well, we're on very solid footing. We've got great partners who are all philosophically aligned with the vision, and everybody is very much of the belief that you rest easy at night when you don't have debt. So we're in very good financial shape. Very very confident about our ability to continue doing what we say we're going to do.
So what turned things around? I don't. Well, firstly, the debt was the club was under heavy debt, and even if the old members had put up another cash call, that club would have been saddled with a tremendous amount of debt. And particularly in the golf business, the margins are not wonderful. They're pretty tight, so it's very difficult to get out from underneath that. So I would say that the biggest change is the club it's got no debt and is on great financial footing. But what hasn't changed is our members. Our members are, by and large, many of the members that were members beforehand are now members again. And they got over their hard feelings and disappointment and are now very much engaged and good solid membership. Yeah.
But I would also add that we've reduced the demographic. It's not a bunch of old folks like Andy and I necessarily. So we had a core come back without question, as Andy said, but the demographics of the game have changed somewhat. And we're seeing a lot of mid 30s to mid 40s families with young kids coming in. Yeah. I mean, so we're seeing, we've got, I think it was 125 juniors all playing at this point, and young family. It's a great demographic for the future of not only our club, but for golf generally, if you can offer some of those alternatives for those options for some of the families.
Yeah. So what's happening in the future with the club?
I mean, right now we've announced we're going to go fully private. I mean, to begin with, to pay some of the bills, shall we say, there was the public could sign up for tee times. We've gradually been restricting that availability over time as we increase the membership of those who are members of the club. And so we're now at the point where we want to make sure that our members have as good access to the first tee without being restricted. I mean, one of the reasons why you become a member of a private club is to get access to that tee. Otherwise, you're really just another form of a public thing, and you're just phoning up for tee time. So we're gradually moving to that direction, to that ultimate goal of being private, which we've announced, and we've also announced that the cost of joining is going up from $40,000 to $50,000 as of August 15th. So we will be fully private. We'll still host charity tournaments and things like that going forward, Mario. But the idea is that the only people that will have access to that tee would be some charity/corporate tournaments that mostly members and guests of our members, and their families, obviously. So that's the goal, and I think you get a much more a better experience that way with respect to being a member of a club when it's just restricted to those folks.
Okay.
I could add to that, Mario, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah.
We really want to become known as best in class in the golf business in Western Canada. We want to be a sought after private golf club, and in order to do that, we have to always continually be increasing our offering keeping right on top of customer experience and reinvesting in our golf course on a continual basis. And the current ownership is fully aligned with those objectives.
Okay, before we sign off here, gentlemen, just a little bit about each of you, like so our viewers can understand your backgrounds. Let's start with Alan. Tell us a little bit about your
I've
back.
been in the real estate business since I was joined Karma Developers back in 1983, which became Brookfield
Yeah,
Residential, and I was CEO of this company for 27 years before I retired at
yeah,
the end of 2021. And so, I mean, the how you want to deal with customers in the real estate business and communities and all the rest of it. There's a similarity with respect to customer experience with respect to a golf course. It's so I'm loving the variety in retirement, shall we say, with a number of different things going on. So it's not the same as running a huge real estate company, but there's a lot of different small businesses involved in everything I'm doing, which is great.
excellent. Nandy?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been in the real estate business all my life. My dad, Melcor Developments, are the company that we're involved in. Its predecessor company was Melton Real Estate, and I can remember as a very young boy sitting in the back of my dad's Packard, going from open house to open house. So I've been in the real estate business a while. I'm still very involved in Melcor. I continue to sit on the board, but my major responsibilities right now, other than working with Alan to run the golf course, is to be a super grandfather. That's my key objective right now.
Okay,
I would
one.
say that's similar as well. We've got all our grandkids playing golf. I've got Shelley and I've got 9 grandkids, and they're all playing at the golf course. So as well.
There you go. All right. Well, super. I appreciate both of you taking the time today to do this. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mario.
All
Okay.
right, thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye.
Alan Norris and Andrew Melton, part owners of the Bearspaw Golf Club in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us today.